what is this AAFP thing?
What is the organization?
So explain a little bit for our profession. I mean, there's a lot of people listening all over the world, so this is an American...
Right, so it's the American Association of Feline Practitioners, and it's an organization that supports veterinarians, and if you see a single cat in your practice, you are a cat veterinarian.
Exactly. N is one is enough.
One is enough.
One is enough.
Sorry for saying sorry. Media presents the Purr Podcast, the best podcast for feline medicine and surgery with tips, tricks, and updates for the entire veterinary healthcare team. If you're dying to know more about cats, keep on listening. Here are your hosts, Dr. Susan Little, famous cat vet and textbook author, and Dr. Jolle Kirpenstein, talented surgeon and social media geek.
Hello, this is Dr. Jolle Kirpenstein.
Hi, it's Dr. Susan Little.
Susan, you're smiling.
I'm smiling because we always have a bit of a who's going to speak first thing going on.
You know, with Eric Garcia, he started himself.
I know. We actually had a guest once who started the podcast because Jolle and I were looking at each other like, you go, no, you go. And so the guest did it.
Yes, exactly. And we have our wonderful guest back.
Yes.
Dr. Apryl Steele.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing a part two with us because there's
we're
always too much.
I know. And we were talking, and we didn't even talk about the AAFP, which will be a big part of this podcast.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thanks for asking me back.
So what is this AAFP thing?
What is the organization?
So explain a little bit for our profession. I mean, there's a lot of people listening all over the world, so this is an American...
Right, so it's the American Association of Feline Practitioners, and it's an organization that supports veterinarians, and if you see a single cat in your practice, you are a cat veterinarian.
Exactly. N is one is enough.
One is enough.
One is enough.
And it's to support cat veterinarians to provide the best care to cats and to cat owners.
And I always say, or at least, when I was on the board of the AAFP, I used to say that
ex-president.
Ex-president.
She's dumbing it down a little bit, but she is former president, accoladed by everybody.
Oh, stop. So I used to say that in a way, American is a bad name in the title because Canadians are members, right? And so we cover more than just America.
And Latin America too, aren't you?
Yes, and we're moving more into Latin America and Brazil. So the Americas.
Yes.
America.
Yes. America's feline. Yes.
Yeah. You can just add an S.
Yeah. So So I think it's important to point out that doesn't mean just the United States. It means the Americas. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And AAFP does a lot of good work.
It's been around for a while.
Yeah.
Do you know how long? I don't know. I'm looking at you because I don't remember either. But it's been around
for
quite a while.
We're putting you on the spot.
Yeah, you guys got to give me these questions ahead of time.
No, we never know what we're going to ask, so we can't give you questions ahead of time. But it's been around for quite a while. I know that, right? And has made a big impact on feline medicine over the years in many ways through different programs, through sponsoring the conference. And so that's actually why we are here in San Francisco.
So one of the things that AAFP does, and I have to tell you something funny too, because AAFP, if you type in AAFP, you get the Family Practitioners of America.
I've done it.
Right.
So you have to always do AAFP plus feline, and then you get...
But we are the other family doctor.
I know.
Veterinarians are the other family doctor.
It is true. So have you ever done anything together?
With the
but it's a really good idea.
I know, don't you think?
There's a nice little One Health topic,
and you can do One Health, and
the role of pets and
cats and
AAFP. There we go, AAFP plus AAFP. I love it.
Squared.
You can always knock on my door for the craziest.
That's great ideas.
That's it.
So
this year's conference is very successful.
Yes.
Biggest
ever, and really
has nothing
engaged
to do
people.
with the city that we're in. It is
It's been growing every year, no matter what, actually. So so it's pretty impressive. Good topics. I'm sure that helps. It's a concurrent and chronic disease management. So.
And we like it because, Susan and I were always discussing the fact that we don't feel that there is enough information of cats.
Yes.
So when you go to lectures, it's always about dogs, and at the end, the last 5 minutes, this. And by the way, the cat this way. So we're trying to change that a little bit.
Yep.
And AAFP, of course, has a huge role in this.
Yeah, we take educating our profession very, very seriously, and that is the veterinarians, the technicians, nurses, and the rest of the staff, industry partners, association executives, everyone is part of this conversation. And it's not just about the medicine and surgery, but it's also about how do you get a cat to have a good experience at a veterinary hospital, and how do you get pet owners not to be stressed and cat owners wanting to bring the cat back. So that's a big part of what we do. And then on top of that, there's all the guidelines. So the guidelines that the AAFP puts out are, I'm speaking from the current presidency, so I might be a little bit biased, but I think they're absolutely amazing and helps practitioners know life stage issues, vaccine issues. We're doing more and more behavior guidelines and helping people understand how to really make those cats' lives better.
And these are open and free, accessible, and where do you go to pick them up?
So at catvets.com is a good place to go to see those, and they are free and open and accessible.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about AAFP. So we publish our guidelines in the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery, but we make them available to everybody. You don't have to be an AAFP member. No. You don't have to be a journal subscriber. You can go to catvets.com and look for the guidelines section, and they're all there for free. I've always loved that.
And you can send your clients to catfriendly.com.
Good point.
That is where there are client brochures that mirror the guidelines, but in layman's language. So it helps.
Awesome. We'll be talking about that pretty soon, I guess.
Yeah, because that's been something that Jolle and I've been interested in too, is like reaching more cat owners, and that is it's a different level of language, right? So AAFP has the catfriendly.com website, which is a really nice companion to the professional website, right? Because I know a lot of cat owners were also trying to look at our professional website, so it's nice that they have their own place.
And they can find a cat veterinarian there.
That's true. You can search for a cat veterinarian.
Oh, that's awesome. And what is the latest guideline? Putting you on the spot again.
Oh, retroviral.
Well, the one that just came out
was zoonoses.
Yes. So this is we're in the fall of 2019, and so the one, it's hot off the press, right? Is the updated zoonoses guidelines. Which is another great One Health topic.
And you were part of that.
No,
you were not part of it.
No, so I've been working on the retrovirus testing and management guidelines, but we had a little friendly rivalry between the two guidelines groups to see who could get theirs done first.
One started.
I lost.
You lost.
Well, but the other started, I think, 3 years earlier or something like that.
All right, those are little details.
So I do win in terms of the length of time it took, but
So from the zoonotic one, what is the number one thing that jumped out?
Ooh, you're looking at me as you say that.
No, I both.
Yeah.
As cat experts.
I mean, I think it's still the important information about just knowing how to manage these diseases, but not being scared of them, and knowing that cats are still great pets, even if people are immunocompromised or have other conditions, but there's just things to be aware of around that.
I think that's the number one message, right? We want people to be aware of what's zoonotic, but we don't want people to be scared by it, right? It just means you need common sense and good prevention and the common things that have always been an issue, like common fleas and intestinal parasites, are still an issue, and they're still
surprise.
So I think
talked
that's a big
with
thing.
Susan Little about
the other Susan Little
about that.
We did.
They will never disappear. Someone told her that when ivermectin came out, so what are you going to do with your life? Because now everything is over.
Right.
You don't have to worry
here
about
we are.
If only.
If only.
And now, here we are. Look at that.
20 years later.
How many mectins are there?
Exactly.
That's it.
Let's circle back to the cat-friendly thing, because really one of the flagship programs that AAFP has done is the cat-friendly practice program. So let's talk a little bit more about that.
The cat-friendly practice program, I can't say it, but it's a really neat program, is it's a way that practitioners can be empowered to make the experience for cats through their hospital as wonderful as it can be for the cat, for the pet owner, for the staff. And for the veterinarian, and make it successful. It starts at home with training pet owners how to acclimate a cat to a cat carrier,
how to get the right cat carrier,
and how to not chase their cat around the house so that they're already freaked out by the time they come to the practice. And then it talks about all the guidelines to make the space as kind and gentle for the cat as possible, whether that's separate waiting areas for dogs and cats, elevated places to keep the carriers, going straight into the rooms. how to handle the cat once it's in the room. Do you open the kennel right away? Do you not? What are your techniques for handling the cat? And education. It does also link back to quite a few of our guidelines, so people can really understand how those guidelines empower good medicine for animals. So it's a program that is many practices, and don't ask me how many right now.
But a lot.
Hundreds.
I think we must be 1,000-ish, either that are like totally finished or in the process. I'm thinking,
yes. I think there's about 370 in process right now. So I was just looking at that number. That people choose to do, and then they get these guidelines and support, and they get to learn how to do it, and then they report back when they think that they've achieved the checklist, and then they get certification, and they renew it every 3 years.
And there's a lot of ongoing support in terms of ongoing education and marketing materials even.
Education, marketing materials, and also referrals to cat-friendly practices, which people that have cats and care deeply want to know where they can go where the cat will be treated well.
So as a practitioner, you get something out of it too.
Right?
Absolutely.
But what's really interesting is what we saw as a shortcoming of it is that we were hearing from many younger veterinarians who very much care about cats and want to be an advocate for cats, but they don't have the buy-in of their ownership of their hospital or the others in the hospital. So this year we're creating a brand new program, which is the Cat Advocate Program, the Cat Certificate. So Cat Friendly Certificate Program, there's going to be 2 pieces to it. So there is the Cat Friendly Veterinary Professional Certificate and the Cat Friendly Veterinary Advocate Certificate. And the professional is for an individual veterinarian or technician nurse.
Okay.
And that's going to be 8 online modules.
Okay.
We think 8. And don't hold me to that, but probably. First half of that is going to be all about handling, getting the cat to the veterinarian, all those things we just talked about. And the other half will be special things about cats that are medically important and guideline related as well. And so that will be the professional certificate. The advocate for certificate will be 4 modules, and it'll be more about the conversation about how to make the experience really lovely for the cat. We're hoping that it's not only the customer service representatives and the assistants, but it's also industry partners and association people and anyone who
really
cares
anybody who
to spread the message actually. But for the certificates, what's really great about them is it demonstrates that someone, especially a veterinarian, cares about cats enough to go through this program, and they can take that with them if they have another job or they're trying to apply for a place where that would look good on their resume. It's going to show that they have this knowledge and investment in cats.
It's like a seal of approval that comes from AAFP, which is widely respected.
So that
as the cat voice.
So we should see that next year.
Can I ask you a question about, because there's some other programs too. For instance, Canada has Cat Healthy, which is also very confusing to me.
I know it's all
friendly and Cat Healthy.
Cat Healthy is really just so it's a group. It's a Canadian group. We have 6 board certified feline specialists in Canada, and so it's the 6 of us who have come together with some industry support, and we're really just as bad way to say it, but we're it's very Canadian, to kind of downplay what you do. I know it's like
they're just
I can't get the Canadian out.
6 veterinarians from nowhere.
Hanging out. They just go to the pub, but they get industry support.
It's kind of like that, actually.
So those are probably the most famous cat veterinarians in the world.
But
let's not talk about that.
So we focused on preventive care and providing some guidance to help veterinarians design preventive care programs for cats. So we're not a membership program. We don't do the types of certifications or designations that AAFP does. We're more just an open door.
But how's the interaction between the two groups?
So the AAFP has officially endorsed, as well as some of the other sort of worldwide cat groups.
Because how many of those veterinarians are past presidents of the AAFP?
Of the Cat Healthy group. 2 are past presidents and 1 is the incoming. So 50%.
There you go.
50%. So we're closely related and have complementary activities. But I understand why it gets confusing.
And the other question is fear-free. So there's a lot of information about fear-free.
Oh, and by the way, it's cathealthy.ca, just to get my little plug in there if you want to have a look at preventive care. But that's another good question, because I get that too, and I'm sure you do too. You do too, right? What's the difference between the fear-free program and what AAFP does?
So the Cat Friendly Practice program and the new Advocate program really focus on how to make the entire cat's experience lovely and without stress, without anxiety for the cat and the person. So it is very similar in its intent, but really giving tools people can use and many, references so people can get a depth of knowledge about cats specifically that helps them.
I think because it's focused on cats, it's just more robust and more detailed on cat only. Right. Then you could possibly be when you're dealing with multiple species like Fear-Free does. Right. So they each have kind of their own place, I think.
Right. Yep. Yeah. And cat friendly practice does not mean that there's no dogs in your practice.
No,
right?
no.
So you can both be fear-free and cat friendly.
And people do, exactly. They go through both programs, which is a nice, in that way, for what I call a mixed animal practice, your dog and cat practice, right? It's a nice complement.
So how, if people are interested in the certificate program, so the advocate and the professional certificate, so what do they need to do to?
So they're going. We're finalizing the webinars right now. So we're expecting probably Q1 is our goal
in 2020
to have these rolled out, and it will be at catvets.com, but we'll also be trying to share this information widely when we get it. So when we get them up and running, because it's not only the people that have signed up already that this is going to appeal to. It's hopefully a new audience to even care for more cats.
Yeah. And you can sign up for AAFP newsletters even if you're not a member.
Yep.
So if you want to keep up with new programs like this, you can sign up on the website, even without being a member. So.
And will this be for free, or do you have to pay a little fee for it? Or
there'll be for current members, there will be a short period that's for free.
Okay.
And then and actually that keys back to another really good use of this is when you have a cat-friendly practice and you hire new staff, how do you get them up to speed on what a cat-friendly practice is?
Good point.
So
staff
this is
training.
A really great way to do that without having to develop your own internal training every time, which is pretty complex.
Makes sense.
And then there will be a fee for it. It's not a big fee, and I don't know what it is, but it's a small fee.
And that reminds me that the Cat Friendly Practice program has been, it's a membership program, right? But once you're a member of AAFP, then you're eligible to start the Cat Friendly Practice program. So it's not a separate dollar value. Right. Exactly. So it's a benefit of membership in a way, which is a huge benefit of membership.
And so if you're in the Americas, it is a no-brainer, obviously. Yeah. What if you're outside of the Americas? Can you still be part of this?
So if you're outside of the Americas, you are going to be under ISFM.
They're the International Society of Feline Medicine.
And they oversee a similar program.
It's Cat Friendly Clinic.
Cat Friendly Clinic.
Cat Friendly Clinic.
Yeah. I know. Yola's rolling his
eyes.
Well, as we discovered when we were trying to name Cat Healthy Canada, there's only so many ways to say these things. So this is why the names tend to sound a little familiar. But they're kind of our sister organization in a way on the international scene.
And they have they oversee and have the legal rights to all of the cat-friendly messaging in Europe and anywhere but the Americas.
Yeah, so we've divided and conquered.
Yes.
Yeah, so the programs are similar in many ways, and we collaborate together a lot.
And interestingly, the AAFP, because we do have the Americas, is going to invest a lot of time and energy in Brazil in this next year coming up.
Yeah, and I'm sure Brazilian veterinarians will be happy to hear that, because there's so many vets in Brazil. They see so many cats. Jolle and I have lectured there, and they're very enthusiastic. And they have a huge hunger for this, but obviously there's a translation issue, right? So we have to get materials.
We're working on all of that.
Yeah. We have to
I think that Brazil is one of our top countries in the world following the podcast.
For podcast followers.
Yes. So America is number one. Because they want
information.
And I think
this is it.
Yeah. That's interesting, because a lot of the English-speaking countries obviously are following. Yeah. But Brazil is pretty high up there.
Yeah. That's
okay, let's switch to Portuguese.
Yeah.
Yes. We should.
That'll be a very short segment. That'd be
very short.
Yeah. I don't think I can say thank you.
Obrigado.
Obrigada. Yeah, I can say thank you. There, we're done.
Yes.
That's a nice word to know.
That's the extent of my Portuguese.
Yeah. But we love it though. I mean, we were there last year, and as a matter of fact, that's where it all started.
Yeah. This podcast, actually, we can blame it on Rio because we did the first recordings.
Dedicated to Brazil.
Yeah, we did the first recordings in Rio de Janeiro last summer, not summer of 2018. Yeah.
That's where the idea started. And we said, okay, let's do some tapings. Okay, they're not so good. Yeah. I mean, if you go to the beginning, but
he's not recommending you go back to the beginning.
You've got to start somewhere.
Because those were really good, but then we had a couple of that where the sound was not.
Hey, it was a baby podcast. It's got to grow up.
Yes. Now we're super, advanced.
Fancy, Mike.
I know. So one of the other things I love about AAFP is that it doesn't focus just on the veterinarians, right? It focuses on technicians, nurses, support staff, really the healthcare team, right? Which is lovely. Right. I know our staff use the information in the webinars. There's a lot of webinars on the website.
Yep. Free quite a few that are accessible to anyone.
Yep.
And to pet owners as well.
And are the webinar rates accredited?
Many of them are accredited.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful.
So there's some that are membership only, but a lot that are free.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, and all the guidelines materials are there for free. So it's a wonderful resource for your team, I think.
And the cat handling webinar just gives people that aren't used to these different ideas. So we are so trained that we need to control the cat. Like that's what we learned in veterinary school. And I think that whenever we're a little afraid, we think the more control we have, the more success we have. But it's the exact opposite in cats. The less you control them, the more safe you are. And so figuring that out and building that ability to handle them in a totally different way it'll change your life if you're not doing it in a good way.
It really does, because nobody enjoys their job if you spend your day fighting with your patients. And you do have to handle cats differently from dogs. So learning these tips and tricks not only can really brighten your day, but it makes you safer. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's a key point in learning how to handle cats well. Safer for the cat, but safer for staff.
And you're not diagnosing diabetes because their stress has made their glucose go to 600.
Yes.
And you're not, diagnosing hypertension when it doesn't exist.
And clients like to come to you.
Right. They want to come.
Yeah, exactly. It's once clients understand what it's about and they see what we do in a cat-friendly practice that's different, then they're bought in for life.
Yeah, they'll never go anywhere else.
No,
it builds your clientele. I was going to say bondage, but that's really not the right word.
Bonding. Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting choice of terms. Yes.
And I had a successful practice.
Yeah. And they will go to the catvets.com website where you can search for cat-friendly practice.
Yeah. And go to catfriendly.com.
And catfriendly.com and search.
And Cat Healthy, though.
No.
Canada?
No. You can go there, but you can't search for a veterinarian.
Oh,
no.
Really?
No.
That's the 6.
See, there's the difference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of discussion about decreasing cat numbers in practices, but it's not happening in a cat-friendly practice, I guess.
Right. It's interesting. Of the feedback we get from feline-only practices and cat-friendly practices is that the demand is growing, and we're not seeing these.
That's where I would bring my cat,
right?
If I wasn't allergic to cats.
Yeah, sadly, that's a little known fact about Jolle. He's allergic to cats.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a cat,
but there are some. I know there's some case studies, right? Because I know every year, at least the last few years, AAFP's produced like a little infographic that is a survey of cat-friendly practices.
Right. And almost all, the vast majority, over 85%, feel like they have more business, more new clients, that it's really something that has been a good business decision and that they will continue to renew and be cat-friendly.
And their support staff usually say that they're happier in their jobs. So like satisfaction amongst the team goes up.
And workman's comp claims go down.
There you go. Safety again, right? So we actually have some data that backs up the fact that, your business can grow and your team can be happier and safer if you're a cat-friendly practice. Yep.
Any other
evidence-based medicine.
AAFP news?
Yeah.
We're going to do our first online conference, not in lieu of our next conference, but that's going to be a lot of fun, and that's in April.
Okay.
And it's going to be very interactive. So it's a virtual e-conference, and the participants can ask the presenters questions. We're going to have Dr.
Like in real time?
Yeah, real time. Dr. Sarah Heath and Dr. Sheila Robertson. So really nice
superstars,
topics.
behavior
and anesthesia and
analgesia.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So we're really looking forward to
April 2020.
April 6th, 2020.
April
is the date.
6th. So you can go to catvets.com to sign up for that?
Yes.
Sweet.
Yes.
That is awesome. Yeah, so let us know. Yeah, that's
an awesome idea.
Yeah, so those are the big things. We are going to really focus. We're having a lot of discussions, and I want to get into a debate about this. We're having a lot of discussions about declaw. And it's a hot topic. Yeah. The conversations are really around how do we have a very strong position statement opposing declaw. Mm-hmm. How do we help and empower veterinarians to make transitions from doing declaws to not doing declaws? So we're looking at actually creating a toolkit that empowers veterinarians to make this transition instead of just saying you shouldn't declaw and deal with it.
Because that doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It's a mental health issue. There's so much bullying that goes on around this, and we need to help our veterinarians in many ways and do what's right for the cat and for the human.
Yeah, we need to give them tools. We need to give them help because that's a huge change for a lot of practices that have traditionally done cat declaws.
I think it's time to change.
Because I think that's well recognized.
You see it, I mean, in our northern friends, where it's happening right now, where states are changing.
So Canada and the U.S. have been really two of the very few countries in the world that do this. Right. And now, over the last couple of years, most Canadian provinces, not all yet, but most, have banned the procedure. So we've made great headway in Canada.
It's happening. I mean,
so it's a ball that's rolling.
I think 5 states that are having legislation introduced this year. So it's going to be a thing. And the conversation I'm hearing isn't should you declaw or should you not declaw anymore, which is really what used to be the conversation. Yeah. I haven't spoken to a veterinarian that likes declaw. I haven't spoken to a veterinarian that thinks it's the right thing for a cat, to be honest with you. But the question is, how do we move away from this? How do we educate and there's a fear that animals will be let out or that someone who doesn't do it as well will do it and doesn't do pain medication. And there's a lot of fear around that. So we need to empower veterinarians and communities to make this
to have a transition
this cultural change. Exactly.
It is a cultural change, and it is a transition plan. You have to know what to say to your clients. You have to know how to answer when your staff say, oh well, but when we do it, we do a good job. Where's the guy down the street? I don't know. Right. So we have to empower them to have those dialogues.
And it's interesting because many of the people I speak to, and I stopped declawing when I bought my practice in 1999. It just was something that I didn't believe in, but I have compassion for people that are in different places in
and may not have their own individual power to say that.
Yeah. But it's just a challenging thing. No one really wants to do it. No. Nobody misses it when they stop. No. And the other thing I'm hearing is that for veterinarians that did stop, they actually feel like they're gaining many more clients because people respect that decision.
It is a process, though. So, and I know in our practice, it was a process that occurred over a few years as we kind of went less and less and less. And that worked for us rather than just saying, cold turkey. So, we just, it kind of faded away through education and whatnot.
And we just did a survey, and 74% of veterinarians that responded, of the ones that do declaw, do it less than once a month.
Yeah. And we saw the same in Canada. I work with a little research group, and we published a paper about 2 years ago that surveyed veterinarians in Ontario, Canada, which is where most veterinarians in Canada are. And we had very similar results. We asked if you're still doing it, how often do you do it? And it's definitely decreased. The demand is decreased. So we saw very similar results.
Yeah, it's just time to move on.
And as a surgeon, I never enjoyed that surgery.
No.
It's a little bit traumatic. And so it's not that I'm waiting for those clients to come in.
Right.
And so that's kind of
I don't even think it's taught anymore.
I keep hearing that, but in the survey results, there were very few people said that they hadn't learned the procedure. So hopefully that it won't be taught at some point.
Going forward. Yep, exactly.
And there's definitely a difference between a good declaw and a bad declaw.
Absolutely.
That's another thing. And so, if there's a surgical indication for doing it, you need to do it the right way and not...
So we don't have a lifetime of chronic pain.
When I bought my practice, like I had said, it was a cat-only practice, and I probably had 70 cats that had P3 fragments with nails growing through their pads that I had to re-declaw. And you know what that surgery's like when you're digging around that scar tissue and that recovery period. It was awful.
Yeah, and there's also concern even when the procedure is done well that we may have some chronic pain symptoms.
Lumbar pain especially.
Yeah, so we, I think in a way we were kind of blind for too many years.
But recognizing the problem is the first step to solve the problem. I think it is really good that we're at least talking about this.
Yeah.
Don't, move away from the topic. We need to discuss this.
I would imagine internationally some people are thinking they still do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but it's been a tradition in Canada and the US that for as long as I've been a vet.
It's almost automatic.
And it's not the only topic. We talk about ear cropping. We talk about
dogs and tail docking.
But we're seeing less and less of all of those things.
It's just time to move on. And I'm always very proud of AAFP that they're not afraid to take a leadership role in these difficult conversations, and that's one that we've not shied away from. So.
Right.
Very good, very good. We are
out of time again?
Yeah, I know.
Oh
it's going so fast,
It does.
It's just we keep on talking, and then we have all these great topics, and it just tells us that you have to come back.
Oh, okay. Well, I would be honored. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, and we're really pleased to finally get a chance to sit down with you and tell veterinarians in the world, in a way, a little bit more about AAFP and the amazing things that they do and the huge impact they've had on cat medicine, on cat welfare, on veterinarians.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity.
Just another on-the-spot question. Have you ever listened to the Purr Podcast?
As Jolle stares her straight in the face. You're allowed to say no.
I have not, but I
will. So now you know, as soon as we're done taping, Jolle is going to ask you for your phone, and he's going to make you subscribe.
Okay, I will do that. Exactly. Well, I have a pin now, so I have to listen.
You do.
And for everybody that's listening, please subscribe to our podcast.
Yeah, you can find us on
Apple
Podcasts.
Now.
Good.
Yes, and give us a good rating.
Google Podcasts, and our website is purrpodcast.net, and you can see a list of all of our guests and all of our topics on purrpodcast.net. So, yes.
So, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you both.
Thank you for becoming a new member of our family.
You're so welcome.
It was perfect.
Excellent. Thank you.
Dr. Susan Little is a feline medicine specialist with 2 cat-only hospitals in Ottawa, Canada. She is best known as an international speaker and as the author and editor of 2 textbooks, The Cat, Clinical Medicine and Management, and August, Consultations in Feline Internal Medicine. Along with 3 cats, she also admits to owning 2 dogs, and you can follow her on social media with the handle @CatVetSusan. Dr. Jolle Kirpensteijn is a diplomat of the American and European College of Veterinary Surgeons and a big cat fan. His specialties range from surgical oncology and reconstruction to minimally invasive surgery. He is the author of 2 textbooks on basic and reconstructive surgery. Did you know he was allergic to cats? Jolle works currently at Hill's Pet Nutrition. You can follow him on social media with the handle @GVETSX. The opinions of this podcast are those by Dr. Susan Little and Dr. Jolle Kirpensteijn. Veterinary medicine is a complex profession, and often there are multiple diagnostic and therapeutic options for different disease processes. If you're a pet owner with questions, please go to your local veterinarian. If you're a veterinary professional, ask your questions on our Instagram page @Purr Podcast.